Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
I'm good.
All right, just kind of watched a documentary called "The War on Children." And let me tell you, uh, here's the thing, and I'll just say it right from the jump. With this whole culture war thing, quote unquote culture war thing, and the left and the right, and it seems like on its face to me, it's all some sort of fucking charade to get everyone to funnel into these political parties, and like they're making it into a Democrat versus Republican thing. Like that's what it looks like. I see so many Daily Wire. We worship the devil at Daily Wire people, or I see like their name brand sprinkled all throughout the entire thing. Just this guy sounds like the typical George Bush Republican, and Robbie Starbuck or whatever, and she looks like you said. What'd you say, Anthony? She looks like a Fox News like
Contributor, yeah.
anchor woman or whatever the fuck. And here's what usually happens, and this seems to be like something that happens with quote unquote both sides of this. It's they take things that are obviously like, oh, that looks shitty, and they use those things as excuses to start funneling you toward, like, to use your sensibilities about this topic or any other topic to play at your emotions, to condition you to play for their team. Ironically enough, that's what their documentary is saying that's what they're saying their documentary is about, is emotionally targeting children or people to get them, I guess it's the trans agenda, to the war on children, to attack children through people being trans or something.
And then they shoehorned critical race theory too.
Yes. Well, anything that's
Woke.
yeah, anything that might vote against Donald Trump in the next election or vote against Republicans in the future or whatever the fuck. And it's like, if you fall for that, I'm sorry to, and let me put a little disclaimer out there. If this hurts your feelings, what I'm going to be saying here, you're probably an idiot and should go over, like, do some research and then come back to me with a sound argument. I suspect you won't have a sound argument, especially if you comment. I'm sure it's going to be one line like, you're stupid, and then that's it. So if you feel bad about what I'm about to say, like, you're probably dumb. It sounds very narcissistic, but I actually believe that to be the case. Like, I think I scientifically looked over through all of this, and it's like, if you can't see that these hypocrites are putting this whatever trans gay agenda thing on this pedestal while ignoring everything else that's happened throughout history in their own lifetimes and their parents' lifetimes and their parents' lifetimes, if they're somehow seeing only this and ignoring the rest of it, like, if you can't see that, you're probably a dumbass. And you need to accept that you're a dumbass, so that you can go, like, learn. Go do some, like, observation, like, work on some observational techniques. Because it's going, at least the way this documentary looks, they will use it against you. This is not just about, quote unquote, protecting the children. This is about funneling people towards political groups as voting blocks. That's no joke. That is no fucking joke. Corporations have been doing that forever. If you're someone who's like, look at the woke agenda, then you can see that people can do that, right? That's possible. Well, guess what? Corporations have been doing that in the opposite direction. The quote-unquote anti-woke agenda. They've been doing this for a very long time.
They put their hand, they put their finger in the wind and see where it blows.
Yeah. Like, oh man, look at, if you're a viewer of this, I don't care what age you are. I don't care if you're a young person or an older person. look at your own experience of advertisement. And you're telling me like targeting kids has just started yesterday? Like I was a kid in the fucking 90s, right? You're telling me all those commercials for action figures, for dolls, for fucking what's that shit called? The little Easy Bake, fucking Nerf guns, all this shit, bro.
Yeah. It's like Jordan. You were a child, right? I assume you were a child, right?
I was.
You seen commercials for Sunny Delight, right?
Of course I have.
Did you know Sunny Delight has the same properties as your antifreeze?
Wait, what?
It does. Yeah, it has the same chemical. Did you know that there's lead in Lunchables?
I did not know that.
But it's like, dude, it's like, and it's like you if you knew that ahead of your kid being highly um promoted to buy those things, you would be like, nah, don't buy that.
Exactly.
But it's a reality, dude.
Yes. So the point that that's being brought up for is to say, if you see a documentary like this where there is just a heavy focus right here while ignoring all the other things that are happening, you're dealing with a snake oil salesman. Like you actually are. Or the dumbest person on the, or you're dealing with Shohei Ohtani, like the dumbest person on the planet.
Yeah.
Like one or the other. Because there's no way these people at this age, I think they have to be older than me. The Starbucks, what a name.
We can say they're at least mid-30s, at least.
Yeah, I think they're older than me. If not, then we age different then. But yeah, to tell me they didn't live through the Iraq War and I guess they didn't pay attention when it was happening. The Gulf War. They're probably a little too young for that shit. But the Iraq War, I wonder where these guys stood. Are they going to rebuke their past behavior of leading to millions of people dying? Not just foreign, but also domestic people dying. Are going to jail domestically, too. And foreign. Like this is like topics like this, put the kids to fucking bed. And I need the adults to actually be like around who can actually have a real conversation about this. Because as like I don't know what like agenda driven some people are like, oh, I'm trans and I was picked on as a kid, so now we need to change all rules and laws in my favor. It's like, what? Or we need to start giving surgeries to kids in school without their parents knowing about it. It's like, what? As egregious as that is, this shit's egregious too. This is fucking egregious. Unless you don't have a brain or critical thinking skills. If you're dumb and the trans agenda is your biggest fucking thing, like, well, wasn't something like World War III trending? Right?
Yeah.
Because Iran struck Israel?
Yeah.
Or retaliated a retaliation that retaliated, blah, 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 like on and on and so forth. That war
Ukraine and Russia too.
Ukraine and Russia, like
October 7th with Israel. Yeah.
So I would hope that they're aware of those issues, but they don't see fuck faces in this documentary. Like they don't see those guys contributing to it. I fucking see it clear as day. I can smell these type of people a mile away, bro. These are like life criminals. Like they will fucking protect the children. They'll sell your child down the fucking river. Yeah, go ahead, have your kids sign up for the military, and then these guys are backing ideologies that will put your kid in harm's fucking way. I could smell that shit a mile away, bro. Well, I can't say I know. I just 100% believe the amount of Daily Wire clippings that are in here. It's like I have to believe that.
And that's not to say it's one-sided. Both sides are a problem.
Yes. Yes.
Politics in general is a problem.
Yes. These fools These leftists will support a Democratic war. These guys will support a Republican war, but they all support war and kind of in general.
And they have, and it's like it's funny in this. It's weird, bro. Like, cause you remember it, earlier in this film, they're talking about successful boycotts of Bud Light and Target. And Target, listen, dude, and then Target is the same company they were protecting when they were getting looted by the the Black Lives Matter activists. And it's like you guys are so dumb. And it's like they criticize a company, but they won't criticize the idea of a company.
Oh no, never that.
As if Raytheon is more morally acceptable than Target or Bud Light is, even though Raytheon is literally a morgue creator, like morgues are created for companies like Raytheon.
Yeah.
To kill.
It's
Blackwater's anti woke, but they kill a lot of motherfuckers every year.
Nah, it's no big deal, man. We don't see it, so it doesn't matter. Or they're protecting freedoms, so it doesn't matter. I thought Americans were over that idea, but I guess not.
That's what you're saying comes into play, where it's a dangerous game you're playing, following these fuckers on.
Oh my god, it's like,
and then they take you down a rabbit hole where you're defending murder of another country because they have black or brown or whatever.
It's you're, on your deathbed, and the devil comes and visit you, and he's like, "Huh, look like you're on my list. What? I didn't do anything. Well, you were supporting this, and this. This murdered a shit ton of people. I didn't know about it. Did you ever bother to ask? Yeah, that's right. You're coming with me. That's a joke. Sorry. It's not. I don't look at the afterlife like that. I'm just saying, like, in metaphorically speaking, that's kind of the case. You're dealing with the devil here. I'm not saying these guys are the devil. I'm only calling them devil worshippers, but only by accident. Like, they're not purpose. Like, they're just conditioned children that, ironically enough, conditioned children who have followed an ideology, and they'll get slapped if they don't fucking follow it.
And that's the paradox. They're making a documentary about conditioning affecting a certain section of the population, where adults are trying to make decisions for children, but at the same time, they are also doing that in another aspect.
Yeah.
Could be as detrimental or more detrimental than race and sex changes.
All the little fucks also that say anything in the comments section. Ad hominem, who borrowed YouTube arguments from YouTube about how to debate. All you numbnuts, relax. I'm just trying to be funny with it. Just relax. Ad hominem, shut the fuck up. Grow a pair, fucking pussy. Anyways, but okay, what we kind of went over is when I was talking about the war and shit like that these guys, my God, shovel people into. That's just for adults, quote unquote adults. That type of conditioning, right? Kids aren't hearing about war stories and all that shit. They do in the sense of like, hey, salute the flag, and this guy's a veteran. He saved your freedom. Support him, love him, no matter what.
It's on the forefront of their minds.
Yes.
For most kids.
Yes. So let's get to the children. This is about the war on children. Has there been cultural conditioning things from entertainment to parents that influence kids in the opposite direction of quote unquote the transgender gay agenda? Bet your ass. And it's been alive and well, or not forever, but for a very, 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 very long time.
And I feel so, like, if someone does watch this, they might be compelled to bring up something I think these guys did very, very very sly for them. It was pretty obvious, but very sly is that they worked in very subtly and not not very fleshed out at all, but it almost to like cover their tracks. They worked in the pornography aspect, and they
Yes.
tied that to homosexuality. Where like Hugh Hefner, they try to tie Hugh Hefner to homosexuality.
And pedophilia and sex trafficking. They tied it all to being gay or being trans, which is like egregious, criminal.
Because the pornography business is way bigger than fucking Hugh Hefner, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, there was a theme of traditionalism.
Yes.
And we could come up with a lot of problems with traditionalism.
Oh yes. Especially in how it affects children. Right?
I don't see a lot of self determination for females in traditionalism.
No. No.
So
Well,
you could say, oh, go ahead.
well, it's like here's your roles from a certain time period until very, like, relatively speaking, very recently. Traditional white man, traditional white woman. There's your on-screen romance throughout film and film. Like forget about gay. Having darker skin tone would like keep you away from like romance in a movie. Like that's crazy, right? Like
Yeah.
this says the thing they're asking for, which comes into the sense of what they're asking for in this movie, of like, well, you don't need to have the gay agenda here and there and all that shit. It's like, well, is the other shit an agenda?
Well, let me also say this. Let me throw this at you. See what you come up with. There's also like that, like you just explained. There's the trope of the dynamic between a female and a male in regards to more or less the male is like this ultra like protector that does everything right,
Yeah.
and he's like basically the alpha. But in reality, like I've had this happen to me where like the woman is really the alpha. And so
It's a good
that's
thing.
yes, it is a good thing. It is a good thing where you're like, yo, this person can dominate me, just wreck my whole life. And it's like that's not really perceived from these fuckers, but it's reality. So then why does that trope work? Is that a way to like boost weak men?
Seemingly. Like, let's be honest. Let's be real. These 1950s, 1960s housewives, come on, bro. They're with their pencil dick men. They're like, fuck, I'm stuck with this fool, bro.
They're,
I'm gonna get high.
and,
Fuck it.
so, and then like you see it like today, like oh, where like people we see like Jody, even like personal life like Dubster, where like all these women they don't want any kind of man. They don't want a man that's a loser. I think who brought that up? Wasn't it Ghost that brought that up?
Yeah, her speaking for all women. Yeah.
Yeah, she was speaking for women, and she was trying to give you an idea of how women treat men and how they view a hierarchy of men. And you were bringing up the point where hierarchies change and desires from women for men changes.
Yeah. And vice
But
versa.
somehow that it's like that's absent in these discussions.
Oh, here's the thing though. It's present, but it's absent at the same time. It's present as in reality, right? Like the girl that they showed, where she's like, "Well, I didn't feel like a girl because I didn't have the curves, I didn't have the look. I was in the Hot Wheels and playing with toys. I was a tomboy, right?
Yeah,
So
so
I didn't see myself as so girly. Meanwhile, it's like these guys in the documentary are asking for the girls to be girly girls, basically.
yeah, that's a great point too. And it's a catch-22 when the Leah Thomas thing is brought up. When the
Swimmer?
the Fallon Fox, where it's like you want women to be a certain way,
Yes.
and then they try to be that way, and then they're faced with this trans question, and then they're like the fetus out of nowhere. Like, I thought you were a strong woman. Now you're a defeatist. Like, oh, I can never beat my husband swimming. I can't beat Leah Thomas. He's a man. It's like, dude, and you bring up that point. What is so poignant is, aren't you a fucking competitor? But it's also society breathing down their necks that you have to do this and that, and you can't be extra muscular. You can't work out like oh man does.
Exactly,
And so that's why when these fuckers are telling you like, oh, we gotta protect the kids, but you don't let the kids be who they want to be either. Which is why you're getting what we're getting now with transsexualism.
Exactly.
And sexuality.
Yes. Holy shit! Because you were go back to 1950 or 60.
Yeah, my girl from Little League can throw 75 and she's 12. Why can't she continue to develop? Who knows where she can go? She might throw 97
Exactly.
later on. Fucking Caitlin Clark might have been able to play. Who the fuck knows? No one was. Her mother wasn't given a chance. Her grandmother wasn't given a chance. She's not given a chance. They're put into a social stigma.
Yes. And they're fools for following it. But guess what?
Yeah.
Now, as extreme as the examples in this movie are going, there's normal people versions of this where they're like, I'm not going to be stuck in this little social bubble you're putting me in, and I can go do this, or I can be this, or I can be the person I want to be.
And they're rained upon by the society. They're looked at as awkward and weirdos.
Yes.
And we like you say all the time, weirdos make the best fucking individuals in all aspects of life. You can get the best outcome from a weirdo.
Does anyone here, please raise your hand if you think Kobe Bryant is just psychologically just the same as anyone else? He's not.
No, he's not.
He's not. He's a psycho when it comes to basketball, bro. Or a student.
Psycho. Derek Jeter's a psycho.
These people are crazy about what they're doing. They're obsessed with being great at what they're doing. That's why they're great at it. They are the weirdos. Hello? Like, come on, man. Fucking... Yeah, guess what? There's going to be someone who, like, no, I am who I am. Like, they're just solidified in it, right? There's definitely kids, right? Like we see in this documentary. There's definitely kids who are like, oh, are you sure you're not really a girl the whole time? Maybe we should go get surgery for this. Like, where they get pushed and influenced and nudged in directions. 100%. It happens the other way around as well, right? They're like, oh, no, you're not like that. You're like this. Let me nudge you back in this direction. They'll call it parenting in this. I'll call it like the same thing, just in a different perspective. But people who are authentic make this fucking world, bro. Those are the motherfuckers. Being authentic, it's not just the most valuable to me, it's the most valuable to you, the fucking viewer. If someone's talking to you and you don't believe a fucking word they're saying, how much value does it have to you? Even for entertainment. Even for, like we were talking about earlier with rappers, like,
yes,
you want some sense of authenticity. Like, this guy's for, like, this is who he is. What he's rapping about is who this guy is. That's way cooler than this guy doesn't do any of this shit. He's just making it up. Yeah, maybe it sounds all right, but it's not like the shit. Like, if I'm about to go to, like, fucking mental war for something, if I'm training for the fucking Olympics, if I'm training for that thing, I want to believe what the fuck I'm hearing. I want something authentic in my ears because I'm doing something authentic. Is that term real? Recognize real?
Yeah, real recognize real. Yeah.
I think that plays a significant role in society. 100%. So guess what? If there is someone who is authentically like, I was born a woman, or I was born a man, like who I am, it wouldn't make sense for fashion style to me, but it would have to be their actual style that they're into. Oh no, I'm in the baggy jeans and hoodies. I'm not into dresses and high heels. They're boring and annoying to me. Like, yeah, that can be authentic. 100% can be authentic. But they're getting washed away because the inauthentic fucks are trying to enter the conversation. These guys and the people that some of the people that they're countering in this documentary. it's like,
Yes, yes.
pick your fucking poison with this shit. Honestly.
There's the extremes to both sides.
Yes. That's what I take away from this documentary is the thing I've already been thinking about this topic. We don't celebrate authenticity. This documentary is not a celebration about like, oh no, don't just be trans to be trans. They're not saying their actual outcome isn't just be authentic. Their actual outcome is no, there's no such thing as being trans. No, it's not real. It's a psychological problem, and everyone that's doing it is a part of an agenda. You were all brainwashed, and you're part of an agenda to do this or do that. Meanwhile, these fools are fucking brainwashed, and it's fucking obvious.
Yeah.
These are brainwashed humans, bro.
And all they want to do is take you back to where their brainwashing is the social norm. To whereas now, and that's why you brought up in the beginning where there's clear contradictions about companies, politicians, media, culture, where the problem was always there, but it was in their favor. Now it's against them.
Yes.
Talking about the culturally conservative types, like in the all the way up to like mid '90s, probably like even early 2000s. Maybe you could say early 2000s is where the cultural change started to happen. But either way, they enjoyed the same contradictions they are now criticizing because they don't like the way things are looking now.
Yes.
And both are extremes. Both have their set of problems. Both are not an organic thing you would want society to follow in neither respect.
Yes.
It's a reaction to an action.
I'd have much more enjoyment hearing an authentic, quote unquote, like someone who's homophobic and an authentic person who's like, let's turn all the kids gay. I'd rather have an authentic version of that talking to me rather than these fucking, I'm sorry, bro, these snake oil salesmen. And people are going to fall for it because there's a war on children and you might be one of them. Hello, audience members. You might be one of them. You might be one of the children whose minds are being manipulated by marketing. What do you do with documentaries? You show certain perspectives. You play certain music. You have your directors or writers or actors look a certain way to appease the audience, right? How come the girl's not wearing a hoodie and a backwards cap? Maybe she authentically likes this style, but from what I'm getting from this is she wants things to go back to tradition. Which means what? She has a conditioned sense of tradition because I can 100% believe that there are girls who want to wear sneakers and hoodies. Who don't want to like show their tits out everywhere and shit like that. Who wants to hang out and be one of the guys. I can believe there's girls like that. I believe there's boys who want to hang out with girls, just not for sexual reasons, but to actually hang out with girls. Because they relate more to them or something. I can believe that. But these fools are denying that reality somehow. Which screams what? Inauthentic perception of fucking reality. This is what they want reality to be. Maybe. They could just be grifters, you know.
Something that's not in their comfort zone and they want to reject it.
Yes.
But they themselves couldn't tell you why. They give you examples, but if they don't really believe, I don't believe they believe it because they don't really know what it is, what it takes.
Boy, I wish I could see the deepest cobwebbed little dark room in their psyches. I'd love to see what the fuck that is. That'd be so interesting.
That's where like I start poking holes, and I'm like, I need to go deeper. Like, what? Pause. But I need to understand. Like, where are you really coming from? Is this a money thing? Is this an ideological thing? Is this like a personal insecurity thing? Like, where is this coming from?
I don't buy it as authentic. Thus, whatever the reason is, whether it's for money or it's ignorance or some sort of security blanket for their own egos because they're worried about something about themselves, aka secretly gay, like this dude is. Whatever it is, like if it's not authentic, then I'm gonna roast your shit. So I'm roasting their shit straight up. And to end this video, I'm gonna give kind of the perfect example of something you just mentioned, basically, about kind of like I guess you're saying like tucking these things away from the public to like the public won't see these things about them in their little conditioning mechanism as far as how they may behave with their own children. Like we don't know, like, hey man, we don't know if your kids, like your kid could authentically be trans, authentically, but you're not going to allow that, are you, daddy or mommy? You guys won't allow that. So what is that? That's you straight up conditioning your children, just like Nickelodeon or Disney Channel is trying to do.
Yeah.
Now you tell me where that's good because you shot them out of your dick, or you push them out of your vagina. Why? How come that becomes good now because they came out of your vagina, or you shot them out of your dick into that vagina?
Well, he kind of, I don't have the quote in hand. He kind of said that shit, like, yeah, like, I will control my kids' awareness of like these sort of topics.
Exactly. Which is, if people want to tell me that's the win, like, well, we'll just take our chance with random parents. Like, well, that has happened, hasn't it, in history? Has that resulted in anything that you considered like this is the way the world should be? I don't think so. I think there's trouble all over the fucking place. They try to tie transitioning to fucking school shooters and shit like that, and violence in schools and stuff. Like, yeah,
They were trying to say, they were really, what I felt they were trying to say is creating victims and then not creating an environment where they feel victimized or how they look or who they are makes them in a way victimized so as to not face any repercussions for their actions because they are taught to be victims. And it's like, dude, it's like if you really think about it, what kid is thinking that way? You know what I mean?
yeah,
To where it's like violence is violent. I think in a school, violence is is where that example is least shown up at opposed to all other aspects of your life.
oh yeah,
But they were trying to tie curriculums around creating more violent people because it served a narrative. Where it's like,
exactly.
dude, where it's like all these other things that were really mixed culture, the way you perceive certain aspects, that's what really in society in general are way bigger cogs in the wheel than a school curriculum where half the kids probably don't even fucking pay attention.
Exactly.
Kids don't go to fucking school and be like, yeah, I'm gonna learn about my past and be super enthusiastic about it. You'll get some like that, but come on, dude. You're not getting 85%, 90% of the class to be enthusiastic, even if it's something that on paper you're trying to make a narrative that this is gonna benefit you and this is gonna help you in life as far as use it to your advantage. Like kids, how many fucking kids actually think so? I don't know. It's so crazy, bro. It's like that. I'm sorry, but it's like that Daily Wire movie with the school shooters and shit.
Yeah.
Where like the school shooter, the main villain is like John Malkovich. He's like, what kid talks like this?
Like a heist.
A mastermind heist guy. He's fucking Robert De Niro. Yo, Robert De Niro sounded dumber than this kid did in Heat. Like this kid is kind of like a fucking Yale professor on hostage situations. Like,
not some heartbroken kid who's like, I'm tired, like my heart's broken, taking it out.
Yeah, cerebral, cold, calculated. Like, what fucking kid? A kid that's doing this shit to do all this.
Holy fuck! Talk about just separated from reality, man. Well, these people don't meet real people, man. They don't get the pleasure of meeting real motherfuckers.
You guys are not good at fucking art.
They're terrible at it.
guys are not good at this shit, bro. You guys don't understand. You don't understand how to create a fucking narrative.
Maybe they're so bad that they're trying so hard that it actually looks like propaganda. Like they think they're doing some sort of artistic statement, but it's really just propaganda. But that's because that's the only art they've ever been exposed to is propaganda.
Yeah, it's like this. It's always the simplest denominator. That's what they're looking for.
Oh shit. All right. Let's end this. I'm gonna end this video with this. A long time ago, not that long ago, say like years ago, probably like 5 to 6 years ago, I was watching this show when I used to talk more about politics, and I think it's called the Dave Rubin Show, and he had two guests on, one named Jordan Peterson and one named Ben Shapiro, and they're the intellectual dark web, the geniuses of our times, right? They're having their little conversation back and forth. It's interesting, right? And then Ben brings up his little boy trying on his sister's sparkle shoes. And Ben was not having that. Now, if you can imagine, Ben's kid he's not on TikTok looking at, trans people, trans influencers, right? He's not on Pornhub. In fact, they probably don't let that kid be anywhere near social media, or even devices that have that are capable of using social media. Right? This kid probably plays with like wooden dolls, bro, or wooden action figures. They're probably so strict about it. So
Yeah.
this kid, so it'd be hard to say that this kid has some sort of outside influence to where they're getting this little kid to buy into little sparkly girl shoes. But the kid liked them and put them on and was wearing them around the house. Ben saw this and literally stopped his kid, took them off, and said, "We're going to whatever Gander Mountain or some shit like that. We're going to the shoe store, or we're going to get you some cowboy boots." And it's like, there's your problem right there, ladies and gentlemen. That encapsulates it. If you're saying that the whole trans agenda is trying to do that thing too, right? Like, yeah, that's obviously bad. If they're trying to take kids and say, like, the kid might want one thing, but they're like, no, you don't want that. You want this. You have to say that the other way around is equally bad. Right?
Yeah.
Forget about the trans. How about parents who support the quote-unquote trans gay agenda? And they're saying, no, child, you don't want that. You want this. You're a boy inside of a girl's body. So we're going to treat you that way, and that's the way you're going to be. That is equally as bad as Ben Shapiro saying, you don't like sparkle shoes. You like cowboy boots. And we're going to go get some. And you're going to fucking wear these things around. And you're not going to be wearing these sparkle shoes anymore. It's the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't see that, you're a fool. You're a dum-dum. I'm sorry to break the news to you. You haven't thought that much about life, really. You've been maybe you're uncultured, or I don't know what the fuck's going on with you. But you missed out on something, and I know it's mean the way I'm saying it, but that's just how I talk. Forgive me for being mean about it. That's how I talk. I think it's dumb, so I'll call you dumb. Doesn't mean you're dumb at everything. Just means I think you're dumb on this. So forget about me. You can call me dumb right back. But go fucking look into it. Go become more culturally savvy. Psychologically savvy. Use your critical thinking skills. I beg you to. Do that. Say, you know what, Jordan, you're an idiot. Fuck you. But you know what? You're so dumb, I'm going to go find the right answers to show how dumb you are. Please, I beg you to. Go fucking do that. I beg you to. But I'm telling you, that example encapsulates what this whole documentary is about. It's not about protecting your children. Because they're conducting a war as well on your kids. They are.
Yeah.
They are. When you're son should be looking up to, I don't know, fucking, what's his name? When they should be looking up to McClane from fucking Die Hard.
Oh, John McClane.
When they should be looking up to John McClane in your mind. And you absolutely throw away the idea that they want to look up to Nina from Black Swan. Like, where the war's already happening. You're already conducting a war for the influence of your kid. You're like the Joker and Batman fighting. Or we're fighting for the soul of Gotham. Like, that's what you're doing with your kid's psyche. And when you do that to people, just like Inception, I'm keeping naming Nolan shit. Just like Inception, when something external tries to infiltrate the psyche, you're going to see a chaotic response. For sure. Because something in the world is going to contradict what you're trying to force feed them. Straight up. And I see the only way around it is to be a master manipulator. And do you want to be with that with your kids? Or do you want to be a friend as much as you're a parent? Do you want to be someone that they can just talk to about anything at any time?
Apparently not.
Or do you want to be the authoritarian? And yeah, that kind of encapsulates this whole thing. And by the way, Ben Shapiro, not talking to him, I'm saying, like, ask yourself this. Yeah, you could, like, oh, Ben makes some good points about the trans agenda, and you know what? You're not a man, or you're not a woman. But would Ben let his daughter date a non-Jewish Arab man? Like, straight up, la 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 la, fucking Arab. Would he allow that? Now ask yourself that question. You don't have to tell me. Just answer it for yourself. And tell me how much of information you're getting from Fuckface McGee and these fucking truth tellers. All right. There's our little reaction review for this movie called The War on Children. Do you actually want to say anything, Anthony, before I end this?
No, I'm good.
All
That
right.
was a good way.
There's our reaction to a clearly propaganda sounding documentary called The War on Children. Probably paid for by the Daily Wire.